Make some noise for your host, Kid Copious.
What up, perps? Kid Copious. Back in the bunker, Purple State Party. You should know what we're doing by now. We're repping America, the center, and common sense. And these things. Yay! Alright, so let's just kick this off. It's going to be a tough one, man. I've been battling some computer problems. Been battling some long work hours. A lot of other stuff going on. But let's kick it off, man. So, this one's called Blame It on Brandon. From the movie Michael Caine starred in Blame It on Rio. Kind of good film, man. Anyhow, I'm really tired of everything that I'm seeing right now. The blame game, the lies, the shams, politicians who just want to run their own agenda, whatever the cost may be. You know, I've always said it, it's really easy to defund the police when you have armed security. It's really easy to allow the price of gasoline and steaks and bacon and all of that stuff to just go through the roof, when you got millions of dollars. Because in Russia, the news agencies are propaganda machines. We shrug it off here. We go, oh well, CNN's propaganda. But no, propaganda is a sign of evil. Quite simply, it is a sign of evil. I don't care where that propaganda comes from. I don't care if it's the lamestream media trying to hide Trump's accomplishments. I don't care if it's a white guy trying to blame black people for all the problems of the world. I don't care which side it comes from. I sit in the center, okay? Propaganda is a tool of evil people. And we are allowing it here, and we have now allowed it to affect elections, to affect policy, to affect the prices of things. We can't accept lies just because they come from our team. We can't accept any of this bullshit, no matter what team it comes from. I don't want to elect Republicans that lie. I don't want to elect Democrats who lie. I want to elect a centralist who just tells the truth. Whether we like it or not. Whether we like it or not. Maybe some of you know what a drug or alcohol intervention is. But that's when somebody's problem has gotten so bad that their friends and family have to sit them down and say, you are destroying this family. You are destroying everything we've built. You are just destroying the lives of your children. You are destroying the life of your spouse. You ever have to face that? I had to face it. I had to sit in group sessions and have people tell me and call me out on all my bullshit and tell me that I was an awful person living the way I was living. But I got better because I heard the truth. The truth hurts, but the truth will set you free. I'm not shilling for either side. I'm shilling for the truth. Should Congress hold big tech accountable for smothering the bombshell Hunter Biden laptop revelations right before the 2020 elections? Yes. We live in a day, in time, where we should all be better educated. Not by some fucking college that wants to churn out lefty rebels. No. We should be educated because we can hear differing opinions and find multiple sources that to confirm or deny it. I don't mind. I don't mind when I think I know something to be true and find out it's false. I'd rather just know. I am a great fan of history, and I don't watch historical films. I watch documentaries because I don't want Hollywood, or whoever. And I'm not trashing them in that. I'm just simply saying that I don't want to learn false information. I don't want to operate on false information. Do you? Do you want to operate on false information just so that your side looks good? The truth of the matter is, had Trump been in office, the Ukraine would not be under attack right now. He would have shown force before Putin crossed the border. Because once Putin crossed the border, he couldn't back out. And meanwhile, back in Russia, in Mother Russia, the propaganda machine is talking about Russia trying to free Russians from neo-Nazis in the Ukraine. People don't understand. They don't believe. Russians hear from Ukrainians. And they argue with them. No, it's not that bad. You know, hey, if you guys had taken care of the neo-Nazis, Putin wouldn't have to go in there. Really? See, that's why propaganda is a tool of evil. Because propaganda is just another word for lies. It's just another word for lies. Watching season 2 of Build Back Better. Yeah, dumpster fire. That sums it up pretty good. You can't afford $8 gasoline, then buy a $50,000 car, you fucking idiot. See, this is their agenda. They have an agenda. And it doesn't matter how it affects the average American. Their agenda is more important than your livelihood. Just remember that. Because you're voting for these people. You think that $8 a gallon for gasoline, it's actually less than $6 here in California, but okay, whatever. You think that that's a step in the right direction because you've been led to believe this. But all along, we've been sold this story about climate change. How are we supposed to believe it? How are we supposed to believe something when you're telling us that Kamala Harris is a great vice president, that Joe Biden is a great president, a great candidate, that Hunter Biden didn't do anything wrong and his laptop was a Russian plant, and Jen Psaki says that Russians meddled in the 2016 election, and Nancy Pelosi at the start of the COVID is telling people to go to Chinatown. How are we supposed to believe these people when it comes to something like climate change? Watching season 2 of Build Back Better. Yeah, dumpster fire. That sums it up pretty good. You can't afford $8 gasoline, then buy a $50,000 car, you fucking idiot. See, this is their agenda. They have an agenda. And it doesn't matter how it affects the average American. Their agenda is more important than your livelihood. Just remember that. Because you're voting for these people. You think that $8 a gallon for gasoline, it's actually less than $6 here in California, but okay, whatever. You think that that's a step in the right direction because you've been led to believe this. But all along, we've been sold this story about climate change. How are we supposed to believe it? How are we supposed to believe something when you're telling us that Kamala Harris is a great vice president, that Joe Biden is a great president, a great candidate, that Hunter Biden didn't do anything wrong and his laptop was a Russian plant, and Jen Psaki says that Russians meddled in the 2016 election, and Nancy Pelosi at the start of the COVID is telling people to go to Chinatown. How are we supposed to believe these people when it comes to something like climate change? Let's get into some of the best here. Dangerous World News. Ukraine or else. Biden. What's this little thingy? Okay. U.S. horses terrified obese Americans will need them again for transportation. Waldo, much easier to find after becoming woke. Yeah, well, carrying a big yellow sign will do that for you. You know, I understand the B's somewhat of an ultra-conservative type viewpoint. I have no problem with him wearing the rainbow. I think I would have left that out. But whatever. It's a joke. Tom Brady realizes it's easier to be hit by 300-pound linemen than stay at home all day with young kids. I just threw that in. Adam and Eve told God that Putin made them eat forbidden fruit. Zelensky begs Congress to bring back Trump. That's worth looking into a little bit because the media did everything they could to get Trump out. And the fact remains, Trump was more for the people than the presidents that we had before and after. And I think that's just clear as day. Biden doesn't give a shit what happens. He wants oil prices to go up. He doesn't care about inflation. He just blames somebody else. His squad members and all of them, they just want book deals and re-elections. I can't figure out what Trump did that was so bad. I honestly, hand to God and all that, I can't figure out why he wasn't reelected, other than propaganda. Ever since I was born, I just see my country deteriorating more and more with every year that passes. And you know what that goes back to? Yeah, you got it. Propaganda. Our media is just a propaganda machine. We should be at the point right now where whatever is said by MSNBC or Jen Psaki, we should just believe the opposite. Because as we're seeing, that's the truth. The opposite of what the news tells you. The opposite of what Jen Psaki tells you. Okay? And if you live in a Republican state and they're fucking liars, don't believe them either. We have to stop believing the hype. We have to stop believing all of the things that we want to hear. If somebody says something that you want to hear, don't believe them until they can show you the pudding. The proof is in the pudding, as they say. I'm just one guy. These are my opinions. I come from the center. I probably have more Democratic ideals than I do Republican. It's probably true. I've never made a list. One of these days I will. I live in the middle for one reason. Because neither side represents me. I want gay rights as much as I want gun rights. Where does that leave me? I voted independent in 2016. In 2020, Trump earned my vote. That's the bottom line. We need to get back to people earning our votes, not us being convinced to vote for people. America was convinced to vote for Biden. And in one year, he has turned this great country into a fucking dumpster fire. And I see how you can even remotely argue that it is not a dumpster fire because of Brandon. Copious. Out. Love.